الله كبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله كبير. Okay, very good. Let me just go ahead and get this write-up that I have so we can get started. Okay. I haven't put it up yet, so I'm just going to you guys follow my shared screen here so you can see what's going on. All right, so today I'm going to talk about the exponent of the 19th Mersenne Prime. Okay, so this is our lesson for today. And so all of these new issues that have come up, and so we have to pay attention to them. And here we have as we have known before, let's see, let me correct some of these. Okay, so the exponent of the 19th Mersenne Prime is 4253. Okay, so this number was discovered in 1962 as we know it. Okay, so this issue had to wait until the advent of electronic computers. Before that, we could not do this. Okay, so what I'm explaining to you right now is something that was not available in 1950s. Okay, so I always say this, that when Kennedy and Nixon had their debate in 1960, you could not explain this to people. This is just now that we can explain this now. Okay, so the 19th Mersenne Prime is 4253. So what is important about this 4253? This is the exponent of it. That means you multiply 2 by itself 4,253 times, and then subtract 1, and you get this large number which has 1,281 digits. Okay, so Surah 42 in the Quran has 53 verses. Okay, so that immediately comes out of that, from the 19th property that this number has. Okay, so 4253 is the 583rd prime number. Okay, these exponents, they all have to be prime numbers. 583rd regular prime is 7577. This number, you know, it just kept on coming up all the time, and I didn't pay any attention to it, but it has all these ramifications as we're going to see here. Now, this also happens to be a non-Chen prime. 7577 happens to be a non-Chen prime, and it happens to be the 438th non-Chen prime. Okay, so we have known about this. So all these underlines are new information that we have today. 353rd composite is 438. 438th composite is 538, and 538 non-Chen prime is 9127. So immediately, this fact brought us back to chapter 9 having 127 verses. Okay, so let me see if I wrote this down here or not. No, I didn't, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to add it up here in this right here. Okay, 353 is the frequency of Hha plus Meem in Surah 42. Okay, so we didn't have this, so I just brought it here. So I okay, so as you see now, we started with chapter 52 having 53 verses. Through this mathematics that I just showed you, all these bullets here, okay, we found out that it actually generates the number of Hha Meems in chapter 42. Okay, So it immediately connects it to this chapter again. It tells you how many Hha Meems it's supposed to have. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Okay, now here we go, and so again, please don't write anything down. Okay, just wait, and I'll put this one right after the prayers. Okay, I'll put it up so you can just see it. Okay, 538 Non-Chen Prime, as I said, is 9127. Okay, and then we come down here, and we also find out that 538 is the index of composite 658. 658 composite is 798, and 798 is the frequency of Kaf, Ha, Ya, and Sad in chapter 19 in the Quran. Okay? Now, remember now, at the very beginning, 30-some, 40 years ago, the idea was that Rashad encountered these frequencies of these letters in chapter 19. It came out 798. And 798 was 42 times 19. Remember? Okay. This mathematics I just showed you, it tells you why it is 49 times 19. Because again, we started with chapter 42, and the number of verses in this chapter, going through the 19th Mersenne Prime, the exponent of the 19th Mersenne Prime. It took us back here to 798. It generated 798. We didn't count it. Listen to this very carefully, okay? We generated 798 in chapter 19, which is called Mary. Okay? So 798 is the frequency of Kaf, Ha, Ya, and Sad in chapter 19. Now, 783 composite is a composite, and its index is 476. This number, 75, 77, I told you just keep creeping up, and I didn't know why, happens to be a Pythagorean prime, and happens to be 476 such number, some prime number. But 476 is a prime number is 3373, and chapter 33 has 73 verses. Okay? So look over here what we did. First we generated how many verses supposed to be in chapter 42. Okay. We came down here and we found out how many Hha Meem supposed to be in chapter 42. We also again re-established that 9 is supposed to have 127 verses. We also established the fact that chapter 19 is supposed to have the frequency of those letters happens to be 798. We also established the fact that chapter 33 is supposed to have 73 verses. Okay? No counting, nothing. Okay? So as I said, the word of God is actually surrounding us. Because these numbers, okay, these numbers all they're there, and these are eternal commandments that God is telling us. And so if you violate any of these things, it's going to be literally hell to pay. Okay? And we do that, and we see the consequences, and we continue doing that. Okay? So since last week I started saying, I said, I'm going to do this first, then I'm going to go into the Quran and see what the Quran says. Okay? And I'm going to go to this and stop here, and we'll finish this unit, and then we'll start the second unit, and then I'm going to tell you what's going on here. Okay?